everybody, and welcome to Crafting with P.Y.S.O, where we invite you to pour your soul out. We hope you enjoy the video.
Slap down your tortillas. Actually, these are cloth. I bought a square of white material from the Dollar Tree, and I just cut a circle out of it and cut all four out.
Don't make tacos with these.
You don't make tacos with these. That'd be a little hard to eat.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm just taking glue and water. Mix that prior because I've made these before. And I dumped it into a little bowl, and I'm going to dip it. You want to make sure you get all of it.
How'd you cut the circles?
With scissors. I took a plate, I set it down on top of it, traced a circle, and then cut them all out at once. And you don't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle because when you're doing this, it's going to wave. You just want that roundness to it. Now after I get this all wet, I squeeze as much as I can out. Now I've done this process. I did this actually a couple times during this, but we won't show that because I ruined it. Shaped it wrong. Okay, now these are just little styrofoam balls that I got from the Dollar Tree and skewer rods that I cut little pieces and stuck in. Now the balls were too big for the ghost size that I had, so I got the heat gun out and I think I poked the skewer into it. Yeah, I poked the skewer into it. And I'll take the heat gun, and what I'm doing is I'm melting it slowly. You'll hear it pop and sizzle like Rice Krispie treats or Rice Krispies and milk. And yeah, I'm trying to show that I want it about that size, so I'm shrinking it probably about 1/4 of an inch, and it becomes harder. And what I didn't know when I was doing this is it's a little pliable when you first do it, like it's soft. And you can shape the top of it. So if it's not quite round when you do this, get it while it's still hot and shape the top of it, but use maybe a cloth. Just make sure it's not too hot. Okay, now I stuck my stick into this block of foam. You can use anything heavy. You could tape it to the side of a can, or something that has, weight to it. And I'm measuring right now to make sure my stick's a good size, because once you start shaping it, you don't want it flinging everywhere, and you don't want it to be too, short, too close to the base, or it'll drag. You want to have it free. Now I'm cutting a couple of sticks that I'm going to use for arms. Now I'm just going to put a little dot of glue to hold that in place so it doesn't slide off. And I'll make the holes for the arms. So I'm putting them where I want them, I'm shoving them in, but then I'll pull them back out and glue them in. That way they don't come out. I just showed you an emery board that I made with sandpaper and a paint stick. And all you have to do is, I use wood glue, smother that wood stick with wood glue and wrap that sandpaper around it. And it's so nice. I mean, it just takes down everything. And you don't have to buy expensive files. You really don't want the sharp ends so it doesn't poke through the cloth. That's why I'm sanding them down. Otherwise, it really doesn't matter. And then here's where I stick the glue into the hole. And that'll secure them. You don't want the long stick to be real secure because you're going to pull that back out. Okay, now I put the stick back into the foam for the support, and I'm placing the cloth on top. Now I'm trying to center it as much as possible. If it's a little bit off, it won't hurt. And then I start to shape it. And you want to shape it down over the head, and you're going to watch me fiddle with this for a while. And I think we actually cut a lot of this out of the video. I was doing it probably about 3 times as long. And I think I actually started over once and took the whole cloth off.
Really, there's no right or wrong shape. You're just trying to make it look like a
ghost.
Flying ghost that you would think is wearing a sheet.
Yeah, it's very simple. Well, it's not simple to do.
They come out different
It's
every
tedious.
time.
It's very easy, but it's very tedious. Now I want to put eyes on him later, so I'm trying to make sure that the face is flat so that the eyes can go on nice. Now I'm taking the heat gun to it to dry it because it's really difficult to work with if it's too wet. And if it's too dry, you can't really move it as much. But you will be able to move it even when it does dry, you can move it a little bit.
This is basically the point where your ghost starts building a personality, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
You're giving it some... Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to Mod Podge it. Now I did this, and this is what caused me to start over because it lost its shape. It wasn't quite thick enough to hold its shape yet, and the reason I'm putting this on is so it holds its shape better. But when it flattened it, so what I suggest you do is don't even do what I'm doing and shaping it before you do this. Just soak it in the glue and water, let it air dry or dry it with your hair dryer or your heat gun, and then paint the whole thing flat with the Mod Podge. Then put it on your figure and try to shape it. Okay, now I'm just letting the ghost dry more, setting it off to the side, and I'm going to paint the arms because you can actually see the yellowish color of the wood through the sheet. So coat the arms. I think I coat them twice using just plain white paint. Now I'm showing you what I can only describe as a banana holder. We got this at a yard sale, I believe.
Yeah.
We actually had a whole lot of them. We have 20 of them.
Too many.
Yeah, too many, but they were only 50 cents for all of them. And these are little coasters, just little round wooden coasters. We painted black, magically. And I think here I'm going to glue it to the board. So you want to take your glue and you want to go around a fine line around the very edge because you don't want it to seep out over. Now I'm just using my blowtorch to heat that glue up really good because I'm going to set my banana holder down on there. And I want it to actually go flush with the coaster and have that glue kind of ooze up around the edges to hold it in place.
Now, if you don't have one of these holders, what would you like them to do?
You don't need one. You don't need a holder at all. You can just use anything you have. You could hang it from like a light switch or, you know, a pull switch, so the light shines down on it. And you also do not have to keep it on that little wooden head, or the little styrofoam head with wooden arms. You can take that off and set it on a table and put a light under it. We have one like that. I also shaped the one that we have sitting down completely different. I paint it one more time with the Mod Podge just to keep it strong, because I intend on using this year after year. If you think you're just going to throw it away, one coat's fine. You don't have to keep doing this. And I'm kind of shaping it a little bit more while I dry it. I had this fishing line on hand. You can use anything, thread, string, whatever you want. And I thread this through a needle. I just pop the stick out. Now I'll put the needle up through the hole that I formed with the stick, and I'm going to come up through the top of the head.
Now, you had something special else you did with that when you came up and down or something with the string?
I'm not sure what I did here, but normally I will come up through the top of the head and then back down right next to the hole that I came up through. And then I tie it at the bottom and put a little bit of hot glue in there just to secure the string. And I think on this one I may have tied a little like piece of the skewer rod to it. You don't have to do that. It's a waste of time. Now I'm just gathering up supplies for the base of the banana hanger, which are pumpkins and tombstones that I make. I'll show you how to do that. The tombstone here is made with just a piece of a paint stick that I cut off the edges, and I'm not doing that, and I didn't use scissors either. I used a Dremel kit. But I formed the edge of it and sanded it. And I rounded it off. And then I just took some hot glue and I gave it a round shape at the top. I shaped some of the stones differently. As you can see, I just sanded them differently. I'm measuring right now where the ghost is going to hang to see how high I need to place it. You want to glue the stone down before you put the moss down. The moss I got at Dollar Tree, by the way. Hold it till it sets. Now I started by pulling small pieces of moss from the bag. Don't do it in one big clump, it makes it more difficult. And also do it in small sections so the glue doesn't cool down. These are pumpkins that I made, and I'm going to show you how I made them without actually making one. I use tin foil and I roll it up into a ball as tight as I can get it. And that might require you to roll it kind of on a hard surface because you can't get it hard enough with just your hands. It'll hurt. I take a piece of wood and just smash it around the edges to round it off. Now I shape this using the end of a paintbrush, and I push down in the center of it, which flattens the bottom and also gives it that indentation that a pumpkin has on the top. It actually is very perfect for a pumpkin.
They look like miniature pumpkins.
They really do. I don't even know what this tool is called, but I used it to put grooves in the side of my pumpkin. You can use the edge of a paintbrush. You can use the edge of the piece of wood, would have worked perfect. But this bent on me. It wasn't even any good, which was one of my favorite tools for painting dots on things. But you can see that it puts a really nice groove, like a pumpkin groove in it.
As you can see, the likeness is rather uncanny. From foil to pumpkin.
Oh, I did use drywall compound on these once, I forgot. It's to give it a more of smooth finish, but I just rub it on there and try to get it like in the little grooves and stuff. And it also makes it look kind of like a little ceramic pumpkin. You could leave them just like this and not paint them, or paint them a gourd color. It doesn't matter. Using a toothpick here.
Toothpick.
Toothpick. I'm using a toothpick to make a stem. And I just sand off the rough edge, and I kind of give it an angle, because there's not a lot you can do with the toothpick to make it look, you know, more realistic.
I don't know if you paint this on here, but what are your color schemes for as far as the orange and the stem go, do you know?
I just used orange and black. And I have like my own special technique to painting stuff. So it makes it a little easier. What I did was I painted after it dried, the drywall compound. Use your heat gun, it's almost instant, it'll dry. And then I painted it orange. Then I painted it with Mod Podge and let that dry fully. Then I take watered down black paint on the grooves and just give it like a little bit of, it doesn't stick as good as it would without the Mod Podge. And I just let it kind of drizzle down the edges, and you can dab off whatever's extra, and then plain black paint into the very center of the pumpkin. Don't use the watered down paint. And paint the stick, or even a dark brown, and just go around the very top. Here I'm painting the eyes on. And I think I'm using the tool that I bent the pumpkin with. Or a paintbrush.
The eye design is completely up to you.
Absolutely. Just like the ghost design. And you don't have to make the base if you don't have the banana holders. You could even use a piece of wood and hang it off of a little piece of like branch or something you find outside. Hot glue it to a bigger branch. It's easy to make anything. For free too.
And if anybody does end up making this craft, please let us know in the comments. Send us a picture if you could.
Oh, I would love to see that. Love ghosts. I bought these little lights on Amazon. They're waterproof lights. You can put them underwater. I placed a little light behind the ghost, well, behind the tombstone, so it shines up under the ghost. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video and you come back to see more of our future videos.